The Burston Bears and the Bad Influence by Stan, Jan, and Mike Bernstein. The Burston Bears and the Bad Influence by Stan, Jan, and Mike Bernstein. When new friends get together to have a little fun, the result can spell trouble for nearly everyone. The Burston Bears and the Bad Influence by Stan, Jan, and Mike Bernstein. One Saturday morning, Sister Bear came home looking like a storm cloud. She stomped up the front steps, through the house, and into the kitchen. "I am never going to speak to that Lizzie Bruin again," she declared. "Oh dear, Lizzie must have done something pretty terrible," said Mamma. "That's right. She invited me over to play Barbies. It was supposed to be just the two of us, but when I got there, Anna, Muffy, and Jill were already there with their Barbie dolls, and there wasn't any room for mine," said Sister. "But dear, it seems to me you can't have too many friends," said Mamma. "Yes, but Lizzie was my best friend, and you can only have one best friend at a time," said Sister. With that, she tossed her baby toy to Mamma and stomped back out. Miranda Moss, who was just about Sister's age, was in just as bad a mood as Sister. Miranda was new in the neighborhood. She and her family had just moved in around the corner from the Bear family. Miranda didn't want to move. She was upset about it. She was upset about leaving her friends, her school, and her neighborhood. "I know you're upset about moving, Miranda, but your father was transferred to the Beartown office, and we had no choice," said her mother. "Now why don't you go out and have a look at your new neighborhood? Maybe you'll like it," said Miranda's mother. "I'll go out and have a look at it, but I won't like it," said Miranda. Sister was sitting on her front steps when Miranda came along. "Hello," said Miranda. "Hello yourself," said Sister. "I just moved in. What's it like here?" said Miranda. It's not like anything. It's just a place," said Sister. Miranda looked around. "It's kind of quiet," she said. "I guess," said Sister. "A little too quiet," said Miranda with a grin. Sister looked around. "Maybe it is," she said. "Is that yours?" asked Miranda, pointing to Sister's big trike. "Yeah," said Sister. "Maybe we could go for a little spin. You could show me around," said Miranda. "Sure," said Sister, mounting the trike. "Hop on." Miranda climbed onto the back. "Okay, here we go," said Sister. And off they went, with Sister pedaling hard and Miranda hanging on for dear life. "Good, Sister has found a new friend," said Mamma, looking out the window. "What's the matter if we're all friends?" asked Papa, coming in from his shop for a cup of tea. "Sister had a falling out with Lizzie Bruin. Nothing serious, just the usual sort of cub spat," said Mamma as she watched the trike whiz by. "Any good hills around here?" asked Miranda, hugging Sister a little tighter as she pedaled on. "Lots, but Dead Bear's Hill was the best." "Can we try it?" asked Miranda. "Sure, it's this way. I know a shortcut," said Sister. The trouble was that the shortcut was through Miss McGrizz's tulips. "Hi-yo, Carol Bear!" cried Miranda. "Yippee-yeah!" cried Sister. Miss McGriz was inside watering her begonias at the time. She saw the whole thing from her window. "My tulips! My beautiful tulips! One of those cobs looks like Sister Bear. Well, I just might have to give her mother a call," she cried again. Dead Bear's Hill was very high. Sister hesitated at the top. "That's Farmer Ben's place down there," said Sister. I know we bought some vegetables from him this morning." "Well?" said Miranda. "Well, what?" said Sister. "Are we going down Dead Bear's Hill or not?" asked Miranda. I've gone down on a sled lots of times, but I never gone down on wheels," said Sister. "There's always got to be a first time," said Miranda. "Okay, here we go," said Sister, taking her feet off the pedals. The trouble was that there was a curve at the bottom of Dead Bear's Hill, and they didn't quite make it. They rolled into Farmer Ben's orchard and into one of his apple trees. They knocked down quite a few apples. "Are you hurt?" asked Miranda. "I don't think so," said Sister. Hey, these look like pretty nice apples," said Miranda. "We're supposed to stay away from Ben's apples, but since these are already on the ground," said Sister, "they'll just rot," said Miranda. They scooped up some apples and put them in their pockets. Hey, how about you pedaling for a while?" said Sister. "Fine with me," said Miranda, and off they rode, munching apples. Farmer Ben was feeding his chickens at the time. He didn't know how it happened, but he saw the cubs were loading up on his apples. "Why, that's Sister Bear and that new cub. Well, their mothers are going to hear from me," he said. "What's that big thing parked in the road?" asked Miranda, pedaling on at Sister's direction. "That's Grizzly Gus's cement mixer. He must be doing some work," said Sister. Maybe we could write our names in the wet cement," said Miranda. The trouble was that they were already riding through it. "Pedal harder! Steer for the woods!" cried Sister. Grizzly Gus was jumping up and down and waving his cement smoother. "That looked like Sister Bear and that new moss cob," said Grizzly Gus. He reached for his cell phone. "Oh, he doesn't look too happy." "I know a way back home, but we'll have to cross Mud Creek on those stepping stones," said Sister. But the stones were for stepping, not riding. They fell in. It wasn't deep, but it sure was muddy. They pulled themselves out and headed for home. All in all, it had been quite a Saturday morning. The phones in the tree house and the mosses tree were ringing off the hook. Ring! Ring! "Yes, Miss McGriz, this is Mama Bear, Sister Bear, and another cub. Your tulips? Oh dear. I think I know what's going on, and I'll certainly deal with it. Thank you for your call," said Mama Bear. "Well, I was pleased when Sister found a new friend, but it's perfectly clear that this new friend is a bad influence," said Mama, turning to Papa. Meanwhile, over at the Moss house, Mrs. Moss was on the phone with Farmer Ben. Miranda and a cub named Sister Bear stole your apples? Oh dear, I think I know what's going on, and I'll certainly take care of it," said Mrs. Moss. Well, Miranda seems to have found a new friend, but unfortunately, this new friend is a very bad influence," said Mrs. Moss, turning to Mr. Moss. At the tree house, Mama Bear answered the phone again. "Yes, Gus, this is Mama Bear. Roll for your wet cement. Sister and another cub. How awful. I'm truly sorry, Gus, but I think I know what's going on, and I'll certainly deal with it. And to Papa she added, that new cub is an even worse influence than I thought. Sister's not sister's not to have anything more to do with her. Mrs. Moss was just as upset as sister, just as Mrs. Moss was just as upset about sister as Mamma was about Miranda. I gather this new friend is a cub named Sister Bear. I'm going to call and complain to her mother, said Mrs. Moss. Now, I wouldn't do that, my dear. Not until, cautioned Mr. Moss, but Mrs. Moss had placed the call. The line's busy, she said. It was busy because Mamma was trying to call Mrs. Moss to complain about Miranda. Then Sister came in the front door. My goodness, you're a mess, said Mamma. Yeah, we fell into Mud Creek trying to ride across, but it's just mud. It'll come off, said Sister with a grin. You certainly seem a lot happier now, said Mamma. That's because I have a new best friend. Her name is Miranda, said Sister. That's something I want to talk to you about, dear. You and this Miranda seem to have been having quite a time. I've had a number of angry calls this morning. I'm afraid this Miranda is what you'd call a bad influence, and I don't want you playing with her any more, said Mamma. That's not fair. It was my fault too. I was just as much as a bad influence on her as she was on me. Besides, we didn't get into any trouble on purpose. It was kind of an accident, protested Sister. Well, you two are going to have to make things right with your neighbors, explained Mamma. Sister Bear and Miranda had a very busy afternoon. After planting some new bulbs in Miss McGriz's tulip patch, they stopped by and explained about the apples to Farmer Ben. And then they apologized to Grizzly Gus for messing up his new cement. He was very nice about it. He even let them write their initials in a corner of the smoothed out wet cement. The next day, Sister not only made up with Lizzie, Anna, Muffy, and Jill, she introduced Miranda to the gang. After all, it was just as Mama said, you can't have too many friends. The end.